Hi everyone, this is Selvi. Today's topic is sprint planning event. Okay, so sprint planning event happens on the first day of the sprint. Okay, the sprint length may be 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but the first day, the very first thing, team will be available for this sprint planning meeting and we will be doing the plan for the sprint. Before getting into the details what happens in the sprint planning meeting, what are the things that we need to prepare before getting into this meeting? Scrum Master prepares two things. One is the average velocity of the team. We all know how to calculate the average velocity. Velocity from the previous completed sprints. For example, if we are in sprint 5, we have completed already sprint 1, 2, 3 and 4. In those 4 sprints, we would have achieved every sprint certain story points. The average of those 4 sprints value will give us the average velocity of the sprint. We all know why we use average, because a specific sprint, if we pick it up, there are chances either that sprint may be a very easy sprint or it may be a very complicated sprint. Then we will not be able to understand really what is the pattern. So to understand the pattern, it is always very important to use the average value. So now we have the first prerequisite item, that is the average velocity of the team. The second thing is capacity details of the team. We already discussed in our previous episode what is capacity planning. So in the capacity planning, Scrum Master prepares the overall team availability, available hours of the team. And in addition to that, Scrum Master also prepares what is person A's available team, person B's available time, and person C's available time. So every person's available time is also prepared, and in addition, overall team's availability is also prepared. So Scrum Master side, two things should be available. One is the average velocity of the team, and the second one is the capacity details of the team. Okay, now these two things are there. How we are going to use this, we will see. Okay, now let's get into the topic of sprint goal. We already discussed in our previous episode what is sprint goal. If any of you have not listened, I request you all to listen to that, because we have completely discussed about what is sprint goal and why we are doing that, why we are creating it, and what is the whole purpose of sprint goal. So now we will try to make the sprint goal. Who will prepare this? Product owner initiates this topic and the whole team will be sharing their inputs, and as a whole team's effort, we will prepare the sprint goal. Example of sprint goal is implementing the search functionality. So as a team, we are going to commit on the sprint goal. Always we will be committing on the sprint goal, and to achieve that commitment, we will pick up the work items that will help us to achieve that. For example, if I want to achieve the goal of search functionality, then I need to pick up the work items that are available in my backlog, and I should implement that work items, then automatically I will achieve my goal. That is the reason we will create the sprint goal. Very simple thing is, in the product backlog, there are many items. Okay, there are many items that we would have already refined, and there are many items with high priority. Can we pick up all the items? Can we pick up some random items based on the priority? We cannot do that. We should have some concrete goal. What is the commitment that we are making in this particular sprint, and what is the goal that we are going to achieve? That should be initially available. And to achieve that goal, what are the associated work items that I need to implement so that I can achieve the goal? That is how the link is. So the first thing is, as a team, we have prepared the goal. Now the second thing is, we need to pick up the items from the product backlog in such a way that is aligned with the sprint goal. That's why we are making first the sprint goal, so that we now have a complete clarity. We will not extend our boundaries and pick any random item from the product backlog. That is a very complicated process. Now we know our goal is on search functionality. Let me pick up the work items that are related to search functionality and with high priority as well. So here two things, when we are picking from the product backlog and making it as a part of the sprint backlog, two things we need to consider. What are those two things? One is priority. Of course, this priority will be shared by the product owner. Product owner knows what are the items which are of high priority, and product owner should be able to guide us that information. What is the second item? Second item is the DOR achievement. Even though priority is high, even though it is also associated with the sprint goal, can I pick up all the items if I don't have the clarity? No, I cannot pick that up, because even if I pick it up, how I will be executing without knowing the complete details? That's why we are making definition of ready, right? Definition of ready means what? Readiness of the work item. For that readiness, we have already prepared a checklist and we ensured all the checklist items are met. So now here, the very important check as a team that we need to do is, please, this work item we cannot pick it up. Why? Because it is not even matching the definition of ready checklist. So we cannot pick that up. There is a open dependency. There is a dependency with wireframes. How can I start my sprint without having the wireframes? How can I implement this functionality in my sprint? So I cannot pick this up. That's the reason definition of ready is used in this particular place to decide. Very best practices, Scrum Master should prepare a list of work items that have met the definition of ready checklist, which means the work items that already met definition of ready is equal to 5. We have already discussed how to measure this definition of ready from 1 to 5 at different levels. So definition of ready 5 means it has already met all the checklist items of definition of ready. So now priority is also high, definition of ready is met, and it is also aligned with the sprint goal. Then we are good to pick those items and put it in our sprint backlog. Okay, I have so many items related to search. Where to stop? How many items can I pick? Can I keep picking up? Can I keep on adding so many items? When can I stop? That is the catch here with the help of the velocity. Search functionality, there are around 15 stories, for example. Okay, 15 user stories are available in the product backlog. Out of that, 12 are with high priority. Product owner is telling these are the high priority, and if you people see, definition of ready is equal to 5. That means there is no open item related to any kind of clarification. We are completely clear and we are good to implement this. But we don't have that much velocity to run the show. How to understand that? That's why we have average velocity. Now, team is keep on pulling the items from the product backlog to the sprint backlog with the help of the product owner by considering this DOR value as well the priority. Things are keep on coming to the sprint backlog. Now Scrum Master should say, okay team, our velocity, average velocity is 30 story points. Let's not pick so many work items which is going around 40 story points, because average velocity is the average speed of the team, right? This is the usual speed that the team generally executes. So we cannot expect instead of 30 they can achieve 60 story points this time. That is highly impossible. So why are we picking all the work items? Let's stop somewhere around 30 story points. Now team has picked, okay, fine, yeah, this is the stage. We have picked around already 32 story points. Now let's stop. and let's do the next level of planning. Now we have a sprint backlog. Always Agile looks for self-organized teams, right? We are working in the model of pull mechanism in the sprint backlog, not the push mechanism. When I say pull mechanism, assignment of work items should not be pushed to the team members. Instead, in the sprint backlog, all the items are available. Team members should be pulling it to their name. They should say, okay, Selvi, Selvi is looking to work on, I am interested to work on the work item that is related to pagination, display of results, search results with pagination. I am interested to work on that. So I will be assigning it in my name. Similarly, this kind of assignment will happen. So now team has assigned all the stories. Now the next step is we need to create task inside it. What if I don't have task? I can execute like this only. No, why I need task inside it? Sprint is going to run for 10 days or 15 days, depends on the length of the sprint, what we have planned. If I keep on telling to someone on first day, yeah, I'm working on pagination. Second day, I'm working on pagination. Seventh day, I'm working on pagination. For the person who is hearing the status, what they will get to know, am I really blocked? Am I really progressing well? Or I'm somehow delayed? No one will get to know where I actually stand with respect to the implementation. So if we have task, it is well and good for anyone to understand by looking at the board. Okay, so these many tasks are completed and somewhere we are here. Okay, so far it's going good. So for that level of understanding and information, task is very important. So now team is creating task inside it. Now it is always a very good practice. Ensure that a task should be getting completed in a daytime, which means maximum 6 hours. That level of distribution of tasks should be made. We should ensure that every day we are making one task to be moved to done state. Even we can complete 3 to 4 tasks in a day, but good practices do not, a task can be with 1 hour, a task cannot be with 25 hours. That will not help us. Again, it is ending with the same problem, right? I will be keep on telling for 3 to 4 days the same task I'm working. Whether in the task where I'm really moving, no one will get to know. No one can support me. My team cannot support me. My team will not be knowing what exactly I'm doing. So somewhere we are missing that collaboration because of this. So it's very important when we are creating tasks, ensure that the tasks are getting completed within a day. Now I am keep on creating tasks. Now the capacity is getting into picture. Already Scrum Master has prepared that capacity details from team. For Selvi, Selvi is available in this sprint for only 30 hours. Now when I keep on creating the task, somewhere actually I am going beyond 30 hours. Or for example, this story I am spending some 20 hours and I need to spend for some more story some around 20 hours. But I don't have that much bandwidth because I am going for a training on the second week. So I have only 30 hours in this sprint at my side. So now here itself we know that there is a challenge. So here itself as a team we should plan it in such a way, okay, Selvi is not going to be available for more than 30 hours, then who else can pick up this task? Who is the next person who is willing to pick up this task? So here itself we are mitigating. Here itself we are resolving. Here itself we are trying to understand what are the challenges that might come. That is the use of task. If we are not preparing task, if we are not having the capacity at our side, then we don't know. I can own the story. I can say that I will be supporting the other stories as well. But really, do I have that level of availability? Do I have that capacity to manage those many tasks in the sprint? I may not. So this is the use of creating tasks inside the work item and using that with the help of the capacity that we have created, that we have collected from the team. Again, I'm saying, do not use these hours that you are using in the task with the user story points what you have added in the story level. These many story points, these many hours. No, it generally cannot work in that way. Now you all know, I am not even talking about what is the story point that we have put there, because that is not only related with effort, right? Always remember, story point that we have done in our estimation activity, that story point is a combination of many factors, not only effort. It is a combination of what is the level of risk involved in that, what is the level of complexity involved in that, what are the dependencies involved in that, and what is the business value that we are trying to achieve out of that, and finally the effort. All these things bring the value of story point, but task actually uses only time. So there is no combination at all, right? There is no combination at all, and each story point can have multiple tasks. Even two story points also can have multiple tasks. It doesn't mean that how much time we are spending, story point is entirely different. So do not match your story point value with the value of the task hours. So the capacity what we have collected, that is going to be used only in the task, just for tracking and understanding anywhere we are getting blocked or delayed, or whether we are on track. For all those things, this task is going to help. And to find whether I have available bandwidth or not, this capacity is going to help. That's why we are matching the hours that we have calculated in the capacity plan with the task, so that if I don't have the capacity, I don't have the available time for the sprint, very well in the planning meeting itself, I will get to know I don't have that much time. So someone else can pick it up. Now, this activity is done. Now we know that how many stories that we have taken for the sprint, and we have created all the tasks, and we know that according to the people availability, who all will be able to work on what all the things. And again, there is no assignment should be made by the product owner or scrum master or technical lead. It is always team, they will be picking up the story and they will be assigning it on their name, and they will start the execution. Now we have reached this level. There is one simple thing I just want to add here. Average velocity of my team is 30 story points. Now actually, if we calculate, the story point that we have committed in this sprint is coming to 35 story points. Can I do this? Of course you can do this. The reason is, the velocity is a fluctuating metric. Okay, it cannot be constant, right? Like today I am walking with a speed of 3 miles per hour. Tomorrow it may be 4 miles per hour. Day after tomorrow it may be 2.5 miles per hour. It is a fluctuating value. Same way, velocity also fluctuates from sprint to sprint. Even though we have calculated the average velocity, we can use that as a guidance, not as a decision factor. Okay? Because I have the capacity in my team, I have the available bandwidth in the team. That's why these many work items we are able to pick it up, and team is able to manage with that. So no worries that it already crossed the average velocity. But why we have used that average velocity? Initially, to understand how many work items that we can pick from the product backlog to sprint backlog, somewhere we need a checkpoint, right? For that checkpoint, this velocity is helpful. But please do not consider velocity if it is 30, I need to stick to 30 only. Team should not go beyond that 30. Team can go the when the project is getting into the levels of maturity, team also knows the product much better, and they know some of the things can be reused, and they are much familiar about the product and the understanding of the requirements. In that case, going forward, the time will reduce, the task time will reduce, and they can pick up more and more work items. In that way, automatically your velocity will increase. So do not use your average velocity for decision making, instead use it for your guidance. At the same time, have your capacity details available so that you can put where you need to stop. You can completely say, you can put a break over there. Okay, we don't have the capacity to pick more items. This is where we need to stop. So that is the major difference between capacity and velocity. We should know what should be taken as a decision, and we should know what should be taken as a reference or guidance. Now, team has prepared the sprint backlog. Now, sprint backlog work items are assigned to the people. They have picked up that they will be working on these items, and they have created the task, and they have added the hours, and they have ensured that the hours are not going beyond the day. These all things are taken care of. Now, team is committing on this sprint goal with the help of these work items. Team is committing on they will be implementing the search functionality with the help of these user stories that are available in the sprint backlog. Now, team knows that this is what is our scope of the sprint. We will discuss about what is scope, because scope is a very interesting and a very important topic. So we will discuss the scope in a very separate episode. Now, just for understanding, the sprint backlog, whatever the work items that team is committing with the help of the sprint goal, is called the scope of the sprint. Now, we know this is the scope of the sprint, and we know what we are going to achieve. Now we are ready to start the sprint. What is the outcome? The outcome is the sprint backlog is ready, and sprint goal is known to the team. And to achieve the sprint goal, what are the items that they need to implement also, they are aware. So now we need to prepare the sprint planning report. What is the sprint planning report all about? Sprint planning report says what are the work items that team is going to work, and what is the sprint goal that they are going to achieve. So which is called as the commitment. So these are called as committed work items or committed stories. So what is the sprint goal? The report should first talk about what is the sprint goal, what are the user stories that are available in the sprint backlog, that is also called as committed work items. Give their titles with the ID and the story points. Sum up all the story points and give the total as committed story points by the team for this sprint. For example, there are 4 stories, 4 of with 8 story pointers, for example. Then 32 story points team is committing in this sprint to achieve the sprint goal of so and so. So this is what should be available in the sprint planning report, that is the sprint goal and the committed work items and the total committed story points. So this is all about the sprint planning event, that is what are the things that we need to prepare before planning the sprint, and what are the things that happen during the sprint, and what is the report that we will prepare. I hope this would have completely explained the sprint planning event. Thanks everyone for listening. Happy learning and stay tuned.